Welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going back in time to the late 1980s and diving into a real-life cybersecurity story. A thriller, really.
It's all there in Clifford Stoll's book, The Cuckoo's Egg. Reads like a spy novel, but it's all true.
Right, so picture this. Clifford Stoll, our protagonist, he's an astronomer, working at the Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory. And he stumbles on this tiny accounting error.
Like, how tiny are we talking?
75 cents.
Yeah.
Off in the computer system logs.
Wow, okay. Most people would probably just ignore that, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Mm.
But not Stoll. Nope. He's got to figure it out. Starts digging deeper.
And this is where it gets interesting. Because this tiny little error, it unravels this huge security breach. A hacker.
Yeah.
Right there in the system.
It's amazing, right? Like, talk about an aha moment, a 75-cent clue to a hacker. What do you think was going through Stoll's mind at this point?
Oh, I bet there was skepticism at first, not jumping to conclusions. But the more he looked, the more things pointed to a hacker. And he finds out the hacker's exploiting a vulnerability in a pretty common program.
What program?
New Emacs.
Huh. I know that one.
Lots of people probably use it without even thinking about it. But back then, the hacker used it to get what are called super user privileges, basically. Full control of the entire system.
The keys to the kingdom.
Exactly.
So the stakes just got higher. We've got a hacker. Unrestricted access to this important research lab's computer system. What happens next?
Well, Stoll knows now he's dealing with a pro, not an amateur. So he starts setting traps, monitoring the hacker's every move, trying to figure out their game. And what he finds out is chilling. The hacker's looking for very specific key words.
Like what?
Okay, so things like password, obviously, but then nuclear, SDI, NORAD.
Wait, hold on. SDI, as in the Star Wars program.
That's right.
You think this hacker was working for a foreign government?
Well, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, remember, this is the Cold War. Tensions are high between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Espionage. Yeah, that was a very real concern.
Wow. So it's not just about a security breach anymore. This has potential national security implications.
Absolutely. And Stoll is right in the middle of it all. He has to find out, who is this hacker, what are they after, and how do we stop them?
Okay, so it's a mystery. A race against time. What does he do?
Well, he tries to get some help, reaches out to the authorities, the FBI, CIA, even the NSA.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets even more complicated. See, back then, law enforcement, they weren't really equipped to deal with this kind of cybercrime. It was all so new.
So they didn't take him seriously.
He hit some roadblocks, definitely some skepticism. People just didn't understand how big of a deal this was.
It's amazing how much things have changed. I mean, cybersecurity is everywhere now.
Right. I mean, this was before the internet as we know it. Cybersecurity wasn't even on the radar for most people.
So while he's trying to get the authorities on board, Stoll's still tracking the hacker. What does he find out?
He finds out the hacker's connection is coming from Hanover, Germany.
He traced it that far.
He used some pretty clever techniques, measuring echo delays on phone lines to figure out the distance.
Echo delays. That's thinking outside the box.
It worked. And now things are getting really serious. The investigation goes international. Stoll has to work with the Germans, figure out international law. And all the while, he's trying to stay one step ahead of this hacker.
Last time, we left off with Stoll facing a new set of problems. He tracked the hacker to Germany. But now what? It's a whole other country. International law enforcement.
Like trying to catch a ghost? That cross borders.
Right. Plus, there's that possibility that this hacker is working for a foreign government.
Cold War. Everything was so tense back then. Everyone was suspicious.
Definitely. So, while he's waiting for the international stuff to work out, Stoll, he doesn't just sit around. He's watching the hacker, trying to predict what they'll do next.
This is where his science background helps. Stoll. He's methodical, observant, looking for clues, patterns, like a detective.
I can picture him, hunched over his computer, piecing it all together.
Yeah. He sees the hacker, spending hours and hours trying to break passwords, exploit weaknesses.
This wasn't just some kid messing around. This was serious hacking.
It shows you how cybersecurity was back then. A lot of systems relied on being hidden. Like, if it's secret, it's safe. But this case, it proves that's not enough.
Okay, so what did Stoll do to try and outsmart this hacker?
He comes up with this plan, kind of unorthodox. It involves deception.
Ooh.
Tell me more. He creates a fake project, a military program, calls it SDA. Stands for Strategic Defense Initiative Network.
Wait, SDI. But that's what the hacker's interested in.
Exactly. It's a trap, a honeypot, designed to lure the hacker in.
And then what?
So, inside these fake files, Stoll puts a letter, like a regular form letter you'd see in a magazine, asking for more information by mail.
Mail. Really? After all that tech stuff, he uses snail mail.
It's clever. He's thinking. The hacker's curious. But they also want to stay hidden.
Blend in, not be obvious.
Right. Back then, no internet for most people. Requesting by mail, totally normal.
So, did the hacker take the bait?
They did. A letter shows up, postmarked from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, signed Laszlo below.
Laszlo. Is he the hacker?
This is where things get weird. Stoll and the authorities, they investigate this Laszlo guy, and he says he doesn't even own a computer.
What? No computer. So was he a fake? Someone else using his name?
It's a mystery. Could Laszlo be part of something bigger? Maybe a foreign agency is using him?
This is like a spy movie.
It shows you. Cybersecurity isn't just about technology, it's about people. People can be tricked, manipulated.
So, what did Stoll think about Laszlo? Did he believe him?
He had his doubts, but he had to consider everything. The CIA was involved. They were really focused on any foreign connections.
Can you imagine those conversations? Trying to figure it out? Lone hacker or a big spy operation?
That question, it hangs over the whole investigation. Makes Stoll's job even harder. He's not just trying to catch a hacker. He's trying to uncover the truth.
Wow. Talk about pressure. So what happens next?
Well, while Stoll is trying to figure out the Laszlo situation, the hacker makes a mistake, a careless one.
What kind of mistake?
They get locked out of a system they were trying to break into.
Seriously, after all that, they get locked out.
It happens. Even the best hackers make mistakes. And this one, it gives Stoll and the authorities a break, a chance to catch up.
They must have been relieved.
Oh, yeah. But they knew it wasn't over.
The hacker is still out there.
Yeah.
Probably planning their next move.
Exactly. And Stoll, he's ready for them. He's learned so much. He's going to use everything he knows to unmask this hacker.
Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into the Cuckoo's egg. It's been quite a story, hasn't it?
Yeah, from chasing a hacker across continents to uncovering potential Cold War espionage to even thinking about, like, the psychology of deception. We've covered a lot.
And Stoll, through all of it, he had to rely on, his own skills, technical skills, but also old-fashioned detective work.
Yeah, it's really impressive how adaptable he was. He had to think outside the box.
Right. So last we left off, the hacker made that mistake, got locked out, gave Stoll and the authorities some breathing room, but things were far from over.
Definitely not over. Hackers still out there, right? They're regrouping, planning something. And Stoll knows this. He has to be ready.
So does he catch the hacker?
Here's what happens. It takes a real turn. Stoll, his girlfriend Martha, and her friend Claudia come up with a plan. Remember that fake project Stoll made?
Oh,
SDInet.
honeypot with the letter.
Right. They take it even further. They make these fake files, mimicking sensitive military info, the stuff they know the hacker wants.
So they're doubling down, making the trap even more irresistible.
Exactly. But here's the twist. Inside these files, they hide a message, a coded signal. It can only be seen by someone with the right technical know-how.
Like a digital fingerprint, so they can identify the hacker, not just their username or location.
And that's it. Brilliant, right. They're not just waiting around. They're actively trying to expose this hacker.
So did it work? Did the hacker go for it?
They did. Access the files, trigger the signal, and then through some really careful tracing, Stoll and the authorities. They pinpoint the location.
They finally got a location.
Big break in the case. The German authorities, they raid the place and arrest this young hacker, Marcus Hess.
Marcus Hess. So he's the mastermind.
It's not so simple. Hess admits to a lot. Breaking into systems, including Stoll's, but he denies any spying, says he wasn't working with any government.
Claims he was just curious, exploring.
That's what he says. Like, he's a harmless hacker, driven by curiosity, not malice.
But Stoll and the authorities, they didn't believe that, did they?
I mean, come on. The evidence was pretty clear. He targeted military places, tried to steal sensitive software. It's more than just curiosity.
So it happened. In the end.
Hess was convicted, computer crimes, but whether he was part of a larger thing, espionage, it's still a question mark.
A bit of a cliffhanger ending, huh? But I guess that shows how tricky cybercrime is. Even back then, figuring out who's responsible. We still struggle with that.
Oh, absolutely. This story, it's from a while ago, but it shows us so much about what we deal with today. Tracing attacks, the line between curiosity and criminal activity. It's a constant race to stay ahead of the bad guys.
It makes you think. Cybersecurity isn't just about the tech stuff. Firewalls, encryption, all that. It's about people, understanding them, their motivations.
Stoll's experience is a good reminder. We're all vulnerable in this interconnected world. Being careful, thinking ahead, being a little suspicious, that's important.
This deep dive, the cuckoo's egg, it's
Oh.
been really fascinating. We saw the beginnings of hacking, international investigations, the ethics of cybersecurity.
And Stoll's story really shows human ingenuity on both sides,
Yeah.
the hackers and the people trying to stop them.
If you want to know more, you should definitely read The Cuckoo's Egg. It's such a great read. It gets into the technical stuff, the people involved, and it really makes you think even all these years later. Thanks for listening.